The NBA offseason is already shaping up to be one of the most dramatic in recent memory, with the futures of two of the game's biggest stars, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant, hanging in the balance. The whispers have turned into full-blown trade rumors, and the next few weeks could drastically reshape the league's landscape. In early May, reports surfaced from the New York Post's Brian Lewis, who revealed that the Brooklyn Nets have set their sights on acquiring the reigning Finals MVP should Giannis Antetokounmpo ever decide to leave Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo has long been viewed as the Nets' prime target, and for the first time, he might actually be in sight. Lewis wrote, "For Brooklyn, acquiring Giannis would be the crowning achievement in what has already been a series of major moves. The Nets have stockpiled draft picks and assets for years, waiting for the chance to strike at a superstar of Giannis's caliber. But until now, those plans have been merely wishful thinking." The Milwaukee Bucks, led by their towering Greek star, have shown no desire to part with their franchise cornerstone. However, that stance might finally be shifting, according to reports. Still, as of now, nothing is confirmed regarding whether Antetokounmpo will request a trade or even entertain the idea of leaving the Bucks. But, as usual in the NBA, where smoke exists, fire often follows. And the situation surrounding Giannis is quickly becoming one of the most intriguing storylines of the offseason. Enter Kevin Durant, whose trade rumors have already been heating up for months. After a disappointing season for the Nets and another postseason failure, Durant's future in Brooklyn appears increasingly uncertain, but the drama surrounding Giannis could very well be the catalyst that determines Durant's next move, as Mark Stein, one of the NBA's most trusted insiders, explained in his latest Steinline update. The expectation persists that Durant will ultimately reach the trade market this offseason, but it might not happen until there is clarity on whether Giannis Antetokounmpo will be staying in Milwaukee or seeking a trade of his own, Stein revealed. This insight suggests that the movement of one superstar could be directly tied to the future of another. Why does this matter to Durant's future? The answer lies in the market for superstars. A trade for Giannis would undoubtedly shake things up in terms of NBA assets, forcing teams to consider how they allocate their resources. No team, no matter how deep their pockets, will have the necessary assets to pursue both Giannis and Durant, especially considering how much capital would be required to land either player. The Bucks, too, are facing their own set of dilemmas. After 3 consecutive first-round playoff exits, Milwaukee finds itself at a crossroads. Despite the undeniable greatness of Giannis, the team's supporting cast has struggled to make an impact, and roster moves are desperately needed to elevate the squad. However, their path forward is clouded. If they're unable to surround Giannis with the necessary talent, the risk of him bolting for a more promising situation, whether that's with the Nets or another suitor, becomes a very real possibility. This could force Milwaukee to consider a trade before the situation reaches a boiling point. If the Bucks are to deal their star, they would demand a package that could reshape the future of their franchise. However, given that there are few teams with the kind of assets and the necessary salary cap space to pull off a Giannis deal, the pool of suitors is expected to be limited. One of those teams, of course, would likely be the Nets, which is why the situation has all the makings of a high-stakes, franchise-altering scenario for both teams. Moreover, Durant's value on the open market is intrinsically tied to the number of teams competing for his services. If Giannis takes up the majority of the NBA's attention, Durant may find himself in a more exclusive group of suitors, which could lead to a more controlled and deliberate process. Brooklyn, too, must consider the timing of a Durant trade. After their struggles last season, moving on from Durant, who still has elite years ahead of him, would signal a clear shift in direction for the franchise. But how much value can Brooklyn realistically expect to extract from a Durant deal in a market flooded with big names like Giannis? That's a question they'll be weighing heavily in the coming weeks. In any case, the NBA offseason is on the verge of delivering some jaw-dropping drama. The futures of both Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant could come to a head in a matter of weeks, and the ripple effects will be felt throughout the league. Whether it's the Bucks shaking up their roster or the Nets trying to solidify their own future without Durant, this summer is shaping up to be one for the history books. Stay tuned. Things are about to get even more interesting.